Welcome to my RPG retrospective on the PlayStation Classic, Legend of Legaia. Legend of Legaia tells the story of a world covered in dangerous mist, and three heroes tasked with restoring Legaia to its former glory. The PlayStation era yielded some of the greatest and most classic RPGs ever to be released, but one game that consistently seems to fly under the radar is Legend of Legaia. Released in North America in 1999, a few months before Final Fantasy VIII and a few months after Xenogears, with such heavy hitters on the market and relatively poor promotion, it should be no surprise that Legend of Legaia remains a beloved favorite of some PS1 fans, while others have never even heard of it. If you haven't heard of it, I recommend playing it, it's a great game. In part 1 of our Legend of Legaia retrospective, we'll dive into the history and trivia behind Legend of Legaia and discuss the presentation, the graphics and music. The gameplay and story will be covered in parts 2 and 3. Let's get down to business. Legend of Legaia was developed by Procyon, a small development house that sadly is no longer in business. Procyon's president, Natsumi Arisawa, was the solitary designer on the game. In turn, the game was produced by Takahiro Kaneko, president of Contrail, best known for producing Wild Arms 2. Contrail has since been purchased by Sony Computer Entertainment International. This game was published by Sony. A fun fact, the copyright on Legend of Legaia expired in 2007, so it's in the public domain. I first played Legend of Legaia on a demo disc. Now, this was over 20 years ago, but if I remember correctly, I got it for filling in one of those warranty cards that used to come with games. I used to get all kinds of swag from those. I fell in love with it immediately and I ran to the mall to buy it as soon as I could. I don't remember seeing any ads or reviews for this game at all. According to the Legaia wiki, 980,000 copies were sold worldwide, with 660,000 units sold in North America and Europe, and 314,500 copies sold in Japan. However, I was unable to confirm these numbers with any other source. Do you have more information about how well this game sold? Let me know in the comments. In any case, sales impressed Sony enough that a sequel was commissioned, but that is a story for another time. Legend of Legaia's 40-hour campaign fits on a single disc, unlike many RPGs of its time. This is due to the game having only a few very short CGI cutscenes. However, one way it does outperform its peers is that it is fully 3D. There are no low-resolution 2D backgrounds. Instead, everything you see on screen is rendered in 3D. This is most impressive in the battle scenes, where player characters and enemies move around the battlefield and the camera zooms and scopes. It's something we didn't see much on the PS1, and it's a really beautiful presentation. The art style is clearly very influenced by anime, as was popular at the time, with the characters having cutesy, large-eyed archetypes so familiar to fans of the genre. Cartoony style aside, many of the boss enemies are large and grotesque. Most character designs in the game world are very plain, but it all seems to fit the game's high fantasy aesthetic. Even the main player characters have very simple designs, but their simplicity is charming, especially in a genre that's so dominated by extreme and often absurd characters. A really nice touch, not typical of the genre at the time, is that battle models change when new weapons and armor are equipped. There are also some really great visual effects, like shadows that follow your characters when they execute special moves, just like Street Fighter II Turbo and lots of other fighting games. The 3D environments are mostly very colorful and they're a joy to explore, but some of the dungeons have repetitive designs. They do a tremendous job here of using various camera angles and other techniques to deliver a cinematic experience without relying too much on long pre-rendered cutscenes. The music was composed by Michiru Oshima, who has scored many films and anime including Little Witch Academia and Fullmetal Alchemist, as well as games like Suikoden, Ico, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, and more. And while not quite reaching the soaring heights of legends like Nobu Uematsu, the music is nevertheless excellent. Throughout the game, a full orchestral score of strings, brass, and woodwinds stir up a feeling of epic adventure. The themes in various areas change depending on whether there's mist. The tracks are ominous and foreboding when the mist is present, but when it's gone, the tracks become bright, upbeat, and hopeful. Dungeon themes evoke a sense of mystery and a thirst for exploration. One of my favorite tracks is the Dance Contest track, a high-energy hip-hop trance beat. It's really a lot of fun to listen to. That's it for part 1, and I really hope you've enjoyed it. Parts 2 and 3 are going to be a lot longer, because we're going to really dive deep into the gameplay and storyline of Legend of Legaia. So please subscribe and enable notifications so you don't miss parts 2 and 3. Please share your thoughts in the comments, and give this video a like. Thank you, and until next time, game over.